Hello and welcome to Let's Talk with Bishop R.C. Blakes. R.C. is an author, empowerment teacher, and the proud pastor of the New Home Ministries of New Orleans, Louisiana, and Houston, Texas. His message circles the globe. His conversational and candid approach to challenging content makes him a relevant voice to all generations. Get ready for a life-changing transformational conversation.
Hello. This is R.C. Blakes, and I want to thank you for tuning in today, whenever you're watching this. This is Let's Talk with R.C. Blakes, and I'm always excited to be able to share with you whatever's on my heart. And, you know, the purpose of this platform is to really deal with issues that everybody struggles with, but not a lot of people are comfortable talking about. So I recently did a poll, and I was asking, would you all like me to talk about one of three subjects? And the one that came back the most is dating after 40. You know, people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and even 70s now are dating, and even beyond that. But I have some thoughts on the subject, because I realize that as the world turns, it's not our grandparents' world. You know what I mean? Where they turned 55, 60, and they were like over the hill, so to speak, and sitting on a rocking chair. Today, you know, people are in full-blown careers at 60, 65, 70, 75. People are starting businesses at 75. People are healthier. People are living longer. People are more vibrant, you know, more cognizant. And so it's a different kind of world for us, because I'm a part of that group. I'm just I happen to be married, but I'm a part of that group. And if I were to be single, I would like for somebody to have these discussions, because dating for me now as a 57-year-old a man that has accomplished certain things looks a lot different than it did 30-some years ago, you know, or 40-some years ago. It looks a lot different, and the approach has to change. You know, it's almost like an athlete. I love basketball, and you know, as I'm looking at Chris Paul right now, as he's getting older in basketball years, he's still a kid, you know, realistically 36 years old, but in basketball years, he's an old man. And the game has to change. Though the rules are the same, though you still love the game and you still play the game, you can't play the game the same way, because you risk injury. And an injury at 36 years old is different than an injury at 26 years old or 24 years old as a basketball player. An injury at this stage in the game could be your career. And so my point is, when you start thinking about dating after 40, you know, in your 50s, in your 60s, and so forth and so on, you really can't afford to make the same kind of blunders, you know, that you made 2 decades ago. You can't afford to make the same kind of mistakes that you made when you were in your 20s. So your dating now has to be what? It has to be more intentional. It has to be more cognizant than emotional. And you certainly shouldn't be dating after 40 if you're allowing your sexual impulses to drive your decisions. I mean, if you've not learned that in 4 decades plus of living, I mean, what are we working with here? If you're still out here allowing your sexual impulses to drive your relational decisions, it's really no wonder that many of you are in the condition you're in. You have to be cognizant, you have to be conscious, you have to be intelligent about the decisions you make and the relationships you form. Because this stuff is very easy to get into, but it's hell to come out of. Now, just kind of like introduction, do not date. I think I have about 10 points I'm going to give you, and then we'll be done. Ooh, it's a little warm here. Do not date until you have healed. This is introduction. This is not point one. This is intro. You do not need to date after 40 if you have not healed. Because more than likely, if you've lived 40 years on this planet, and if you've had any interaction relative to dating, you have some issues that you have experienced. You have some things you've gone through. You have some trauma that you yet need to process. And most of us, what do we do with our trauma? We sweep it under the rug. And trauma that is swept under the rug has not left your home. Please hear what I'm saying. Trauma that is swept under the rug has not left the home. It is still present. It may be out of sight, but it is still in the atmosphere of your dwelling. You know, you can take trash and sweep it under the couch, under the rug. Your house is still dirty. The dirt is still in there. And most of us, we have swept the trauma under the rug and we have not processed it. You do not want to make a relationship decision based on a previous season of brokenness. Because if you do not process the trauma, what will happen is one of two things at least will happen. The trauma will continue to deplete your self-esteem and your sense of worth, and you will mark yourself down to the point you'll be a genuine Chanel bag selling yourself on a Walmart shelf if you do not process, if you do not deal with the trauma. You will, in other words, invite people into your life that should have never even had a conversation because you're traumatized. Now, you flip it, if you don't process the trauma, one of two things happen, especially with women. You either invite more people into your life that should not be there, that will break you further, damage you further, or then you get a decent person in your life that's different than the people that broke you, and because you've not processed the trauma, you don't even know how to nurture a healthy relationship. So what'll happen is you'll break that individual or run them off. Because you cannot relate to someone else when you do not have a handle on yourself. So I say to you, you know, unlike a lot of the horrible counsel you may get from certain people who say the quickest way to get over one man is to get under another, that's foolishness. I say to you, you need to really pause on the relationship stuff. You don't need a relationship with someone else until you have a handle on yourself. I don't care about no clock ticking. I don't care nothing about hitting a wall. You need to get into counseling or whatever, and you need to heal from the previous season or seasons of trauma. Do not date until you've healed. Do not date until you've learned. If you're still here and you know that you really haven't learned, you see yourself out here. See, there's a difference between knowing versus learning. You've learned something when you can actually apply it. If you're still out here making choices that make you scratch your own head, you've not learned yet. And you do not need to be in the relationship pool until you've learned, because if you get back in there and you've not learned from your previous seasons, what may happen is you may drown this time. You see, you got a nose full of water the last time. You got a mouth full of water, but this time you may drown. You don't need to date again until you've healed. You don't need to date again until you've learned. You don't need to date again until you've grown. Now, what do I mean by grown? What do I mean by grown? I'm 40 years old, I'm 50 years old, I'm 60 years old. I'm grown. Well, you may be grown chronologically, but emotionally, you're still a little broken girl. Or you're still a little broken boy. You know, till you can get to the point where you can really look at things and you can have a real wise perspective on things, and you can govern yourself based on your discernment rather than your, enticements that create your entanglements. You've not grown. And then this is the fourth thing. Don't date again if you've not found happiness within yourself. You don't need to date. You don't need to consider dating if you are presently miserable. If you're sitting there and all you can talk about is that I'm miserable because I don't have a relationship, as if the only thing to life is a man or a woman. And I mean, I get it. I get it. I have a woman, and I'm thankful that I got a woman, but I'm well adjusted enough to know that life is more than Lisa. And if Lisa were not here, I would have a lot more to do in life than to sit around and wonder, well, when am I going to get another woman? Or definitely I wouldn't have time to sit around and get depressed and obsess over, when am I going to get another woman? If you're sitting around and you're presently unhappy, you're an unhappy person, and you think that, plugging somebody else into your unhappy life is going to make you happy, don't do it. Don't even do that to the other person, because happiness is not delivered by someone else. Happiness is developed within yourself. No one else is going to come into your life like Santa Claus and deliver a big bag of happiness. You have to find that within yourself. And if you're not happy within yourself and you thinking that you're going to date and find somebody else and that's going to make you happy, you are way off base, and you've not learned enough to even approach the process of dating at this point. Now, let's get into this. Dating rules for, I say a woman after 40, but I mean, these rules pretty much apply both ways, honestly. Of course, all the basic stuff. You have to put yourself in a place where, you can be seen. You can't stay in your house with the curtains drawn and under the cover with a remote in your hand and think somebody's gonna knock on your door and say, the Lord sent me to come get you, my wife. No, you got to put yourself in a place to be seen, and preferably around people that, are on the same frequency as you. You know what I mean? Now, what does that mean? Does that mean you create social circles? Preferably. It may also mean that you do some online dating. I mean, I don't necessarily recommend it, because I guess I'm just of another school. But some people are using it, and it's seeming to work for some people. I would just say be very careful with it. All of that stuff is basic. But let me just tell you the 10 things that I have in my spirit. Number one, don't let others dictate your dating life. In other words, don't find yourself out here trying to date based on other people's wishes for you. One of my daughters posted something that said, "Your idea of me is not my responsibility." And how many of us are doing things with our lives to please other people and their ideas about who we are and what we should be? The majority of people feel like they need a relationship because the world around them says you need a relationship. In a lot of cases, there are some of you who don't even want a relationship, but everybody around you is harassing you about you should date, you need a man. You know, you need a man. When you gonna get a man? The children are grown, the children are gone. You need a man. And you may be sitting there perfectly happy with your life, and it's the people around you that are pressuring you to date. And you may not even want it. Don't let other people dictate your dating life or choices. It is so bad that some people feel weird because they really don't want a relationship. They're content with their career. They're content, with all of the other things that they do. They're content with, their walk with God. They're content. But you have all of these people surrounding you, and they're just constantly pouring this stuff into your head, and they're pushing you out there. And a lot of these people are not happy in their own relationships, because if they really were, would they have as much time to be worrying about your life? I mean, all I do is talk about relationships, really. I mean, that's most of what I talk about these days, seemingly. And I don't call people telling people about no relationships. I don't have time to think about nobody's relationship. I got my ministry to run. I got my businesses to run. I got my wife to take care of, my children, my grandchildren. I ain't got time to be worried. So anybody that always has time to call you and worry you about what they think you should be doing relative to your dating life should be questioned. Now, when you decide that you want a relationship, don't allow other people to force you or limit you. See, people and their, ideas can confuse your judgment. You have to date on your own terms. You have to date from, your own perspective, not mine. I can't choose somebody that is going to be suitable for you. I can choose somebody that might pass the eye test or the paper test, the data test. But if that chemistry is really going to work, that's going to be something that you're going to have to be able to decide for yourself. Now, let me bring this in, since I'm talking to people who are dating 40 and up. You can't allow grown children to dictate your dating life. It's amazing how your children can, grow up and tell you, I'm grown and I make my own decisions and I do what I want to do. And then when you get to a point where, you're free to do whatever you want to do, they want to step into your life and dictate if you date, who you date, when you date, how you date. I know that in most cases is that they, especially with their mothers, they feel, protective of their mama, and they don't want a man to come in and take advantage of mama. And I get it. I have a mama, and my dad is deceased. You know what I mean? I kind of hate to think what I would, let me leave that alone. But back to my point. I ain't talking about me. I'm talking about you. You can't allow your grown children to dictate your dating life, because you'll have grown children who have their own relationships and will come into your life and wreck and ruin every potential relationship you might develop. I believe one of the reasons that the Bible says that, one should leave mother and father and cleave to his cleave to his wife, be joined to his wife, is because God want to get him out of your business. Go to your husband, your wife, cleave to them, and leave me alone. Don't allow your children even to dictate your dating life. Now they're concerned, and if there's some clear red flags, your children are going to obviously, be vocal about that. You should consider what they say, but ultimately you must make your own decisions relative to your dating life. And how do you do that? You do that by not relying on the voices of all of the people around you, but relying on the leading of God from within. So now this means that if you're going to have the leading of God, you're going to have to make certain that this process is not baptized in flesh. In other words, you can't be out here trying to make a relational decision dating just purely from, a flesh perspective, because you need to go deeper. You need the unction of God to give you revelation about this situation. God will reveal things to you that are not on the surface. And this is why the Bible says in Proverbs 3:5-7, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. Don't be wise. Don't think you know it. Don't allow people to feed you a whole lot of stuff. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart. Do not allow people to dictate your dating life. Number 2, do not waste time. Now listen to this very carefully. You're dating after 40. Do not waste time with clear red flags. Clear red flags. Do not waste time with clear red flags because of what? Loneliness, low self-esteem, no sense of value. Only immature people ignore clues, and only fools disregard cycles. You've been through this cycle before. You've seen this before. And now you mean to tell me here 40 years later, 50 years later, 60 years later, you're looking at the same thing repeat itself and you disregard it because I'm lonely. I'm lonely. How many people do I know, have I talked to, who have gotten involved with psychopaths, sociopaths, narcissists? And the reason they say they opened up to this individual is because they were lonely. Loneliness is the single greatest motivator for most of the bad decisions we've made. When you feel lonely, your ear is still open to the whispers of your broken soul. When you hear loneliness whispering in your ear late at night saying you need somebody in this bed to feel complete, you know that is the voice of your broken soul. Listen to what Psalms 25, 15-17 says. My eyes are ever on the Lord, for only he will release my feet from the snare. Turn to me and be gracious to me, for I am lonely and afflicted. Relieve the troubles of my heart and free me from my anguish. That's what loneliness puts you into. You see, but you have to understand that loneliness is just a symptom. And wherever there's a symptom, there's a cause. You see, you don't remedy a symptom, the symptom of loneliness, by filling your life with somebody else. You can't go outside of you to remedy the symptom of loneliness. You have to go inside of you. There's a breakdown somewhere spiritually When you find yourself lonely, there's a breakdown spiritually. You're disconnected from yourself and you're disconnected from your creator. And so it is self-deceiving to think that, well, I'm lonely, so I need to date, and you're ignoring all of these red flags. Homeboy told you that he's an engineer. He makes $500,000 a year, and he pulls up to your house and his car is leaking oil. It's smoking. You go to the restaurant and all of a sudden he patting his jacket in his pocket. I forgot my wallet. I forgot my wallet. Can you pay today? And because you're lonely, you just ignore the oil stains on your driveway now. You ignore the fact that this dude just sat here and ate a whole meal on your dime. But yet he's a $500,000 a year engineer. And these flags are on fire. And we could give you a pass on that when you was 20. We start looking at you sideways when you turn 30 and falling for that. But now you 40 years old and you still out here falling for all of this stuff here. Dude tell you he gonna call you at a certain time and he never calls. He gonna show up. I'm gonna come to get you and bring you. He never shows up. And then he calls you 7, 8, 9, 10 days later and you still answering the phone because you ignoring all of these red flags because you feel like you're lonely. You feel like you're worthless. The world tells you, well, you have a certain age now, so your value is dropping, and you buy into that. And so now, because the world has conditioned you to believe these lies, now you're ignoring and you're wasting time with clear red flags. Contentment, write this down somewhere. Contentment is the clue or the evidence that you are clear enough to choose correctly. Contentment is the clue that you are clear enough to choose correctly. If you're not presently content and you out here trying to choose a man because you feel lonely, you feel your self-esteem is low and you need a man to boost your self-esteem, you're not content, sweetheart. Contentment is the clue that makes it clear that you are prepared, you are mature enough, healthy enough to choose. See, in all of this stuff we're talking about, you got to be content within yourself as an individual. Don't tell me about no age. You have to be content within yourself as an individual because you're not guaranteed to have a lifelong relationship. There's some people who had great relationships and their spouses died early, and they haven't been able to find anybody else since. You're not guaranteed that in life. So you're going to have to learn to really be content within yourself, especially if you're going to get out here and begin to entertain the idea of allowing somebody to come into your life. Because if you're not content, if you're desperate, wow, you're extremely vulnerable. And listen to what Philippians 4:11 says. Not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am therewith to be content. Single, married, dating, by myself, whatever state I'm in, I have learned, life has taught me to be content in whatever state I'm in. And so if you're out here now and you already know that this person you're seeing, you've already seen 5 or 6 flags. And you've just brushed them under the rug, you ignored it. And you're trying to put lipstick on the pig, thinking you're going to change the nature of the pig. As soon as you open that door, that pig going to run straight to the mud because you can't ignore these red flags. Now, number 3, be certain, this is dating after 40, right? Be certain that this situation works for you financially. This is important. You have to be certain that this situation, if you're going to date and then start getting serious, well, even before it gets serious, you need to have some kind of real understanding about where this person is financially, because, you've lived 40 years old, 40 years, you got 40 years of living under your belt. Finances should be very important to you. Your personal finances and the finances of an individual that you might, allow to come into your life and set up residence in your heart. Because at a certain age, finances become more important. See, when we were 20, 25, maybe 30, maybe 32, by 35, people should have certain things on the ball, really by 30, I think. But 40, 50, and 60, After 40, if it does not make financial sense for you, it's probably ill-advised. You got too much to lose, and then you don't have, see, when I was in my 20s, in my early 30s, I had a whole half a life or more to recover. But I'm 57 years old right now. If I didn't have Lisa in my life, I got to see your financials. I got to see your financials, because I'm not out here trying to have excellent credit and yours is in the tank and I'm gonna give you access to all of my resources. No, ma'am, no, ma'am, no, ma'am. And absolutely, if I'm a woman and I've worked and I've built myself financially and I have resources, and then I'm gonna let you, a grown grandpa of a man, come up in my life and you have no respect for money and I'm gonna give you access to mine? Ain't no way in the world. The devil is a lie and the truth ain't in him. Listen to what Ecclesiastes 7:12 says. For wisdom is a defense and money is a defense. But the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom giveth life to them that have it. Wisdom is a defense and money is a defense. It is ill-advised at a certain age to invite someone into the intimate chambers of your life that has a questionable financial background. Because money is a defense. A person that does not respect money, it's pretty safe to say in most situations that they are probably irresponsible. And they're at an age that they should have learned certain lessons a couple of decades ago. Why is a person a particular age and financially unstable? Especially if I'm a woman and I'm dating you and you talking about you're gonna be my man and I'm supposed to submit to you and you gonna cover me and you the head of the house and your money ain't right and you ain't, don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about a dude has to be rich. I'm not talking about he has to make 6 figures a year, but he need to have good credit. He needs to have a job. He needs to have resources of his own. He got to have the basic financial disciplines on lock, unless he just recently came out of some horrific divorce or he just recently had some major health crisis that threw all of his finances in a tizzy. But all things being equal, if a man is 40 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old, and he come into your life and his money not right, I don't know. I mean, you got to make up your own mind. So I ain't gonna tell you what to do. But listen to what the Bible says in Proverbs 21:20. There's treasure to be desired and oil in the dwelling of the wise. Watch this. But a foolish man spendeth it up. I think that is probably the answer more times than not. And see, this lesson goes both ways. You shouldn't be a man that has worked hard, built yourself financially, and then just go and grab a woman that you 50 years old, you're gonna go grab a woman that all she know how to do is spend money. She doesn't know how to manage this money. She don't know how to make it. She doesn't know how to respect it. And you just gonna let her come and every weekend she gonna have a shopping spree? I don't think so, bro. I don't think so. I'll leave that alone. Praise the Lord. So number 4, be sure you can accept the person for who they are, as well as they accept you for who you are. Why is this point important? Why did I put that in there in dating after 40 years of age? It's because we get to a certain age, we don't do a whole lot of changing. You know, I mean, I got certain habits that they ain't gonna break. They ain't gonna break. I'm not gonna break. You know, this is just who I am now. Now, it don't mean I'm not gonna grow. Doesn't mean that I can't learn. Doesn't mean that I can't evolve. But, you know, if I were a single person, pretty much you're gonna have to accept me. 95% of what I am is what I'm gonna be. And if I'm dating somebody, you know, that is of my age, I would understand that I need to really pay attention to all of this person's idiosyncrasies and conclude that I can accept this person for exactly who they are without this fantastical mindset that somehow I'm going to change you. See, that's when we were younger. When we were younger, all of the young girls thought, okay, I'm gonna get him and I'm gonna change him. All of the young men thought, I'm gonna get her and she's never gonna change. Both of us were wrong. The woman changes. All the man looking at is the physical. The woman changes physically, and the man, you know, if he's a devil from the beginning, he gonna pretty much grow to be an old devil. He doesn't change. She does. He doesn't, based on our perspectives. But now at a certain age, you realize that you have to look at a person and you have to look at the pros and the cons, and you have to be able to say, now, can I deal with this person if nothing changes? The things that get on my nerves, are they deal breakers? Be sure you can accept the person for exactly who they are. Listen to what 1 Peter 4:8-9 says. It says, above all, have fervent and unfailing love for one another, because love covers a multitude of sins. It overlooks unkindness and unselfishly seeks the best for others. Be hospitable to one another without complaint. If you don't have that kind of affection for the person that empowers you to be able to look over the little things that, you know, may get on your nerves, you don't need to waste any more time. See, you shouldn't be, after 40 years old, you don't want to have one of these if you plan on getting married. Now, if you're just dating for the sake of dating, you know, have fun, do your thing. But if you're dating to get married, you don't need these long dating situations, you know, 6 months. You know, I think 6 months, that's a long time for somebody over 40 years old. You know, I think you start getting around 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks at the most. You should be able to figure out if there's a future, if this is going somewhere or not. You don't want to be like you were when you were younger, just giving a person 18 months of your life, 24 months of your life, 3 years of your life, 4 years we over. Well, no, I'm not trying to do it like that. Because if this ain't it, I need to, and I want to be married, I need to shut this down now. Let's just, you know, let's be friends and let me move on, because I don't have time. So I'm trying to figure out if I can accept you for who you are, and I need to figure out if you can accept me for who I am. Because I'm not going to sit here and let you just keep on throwing, you know, these jabs about things, about issues you may have with me, what you may not like about me. You know, I'm not going to do that, because I'm not going to let you on a sly come here with all of this passive aggressive energy and try to break my self-esteem down. You either accept me for who I am or you don't. And if you don't, that's cool. I have enough love for me. My self-esteem is not impacted by the fact that you don't appreciate all of my greatness. But you need to figure out if you can accept the person for exactly who they are without any idea that I'm going to marry you and I'm going to change you. No, no, no. Ain't no changing. Accept them for who they are. Number 5, you have to understand, after 40 years old, that this is not a season to build a mate. This is not the season to go and get yourself a project. This is not the build a mate season. That was back there in your 20s. Y'all get together and we work on one another and we help one another come on up. No, 40 years old, 50 years old, you should have all of your stuff should be in place, and I should be able to see it. It should be on full display, and we should just take and merge and then grow from there. But this is not the season to be out here trying to build a mate. This is not the season to struggle through with anybody. This just ain't the season for that. 40, 50, 60, 70, this ain't the season to be out here struggling through. You just need to struggle with me. I want you to struggle with me. These are the years that a relationship should make life easier. These are the years that it doesn't even make sense for you to disrupt a perfectly happy life and going and bringing somebody else into your life to struggle with. Why do you need to just intentionally go and get somebody to struggle with? Your children gonna give you enough opportunity to do some struggling with them. Your grandchildren gonna give you enough opportunity to struggle with them. Why would you go and get somebody and intentionally transport them all up into your life and then struggle with them? This is not the season, because you think you can make you a little man. You can build you a little woman. No. I ain't in the business of building nothing at no 50-some years old. You need to have all that together. Why would you even step to me? It's disrespectful that you would even step to me and you ain't have all of this stuff together. I am not in the build-a-mate business. Go to the mall, build you a bear. I'm not in the build-a-mate business. Hebrews 5:12. For the time ye ought to be teachers, you have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of God, and it becomes such as have need of milk and not of strong meat. The principle there is that there's a time that you should be teaching. You shouldn't be sitting in one of those little desks there staring at the blackboard. And I'm in a season where I'm not looking for students. I'm looking for fellow instructors. But see, some of you all are addicted to projects. That's a big problem with a lot of women, especially a lot of accomplished women. You want to go find a man and you think that you can buy loyalty. I can bring him up and he gonna be loyal to me. Babe, if he ain't loyal in those run over tennis shoes and those wore out true religions he wear every day, you going bringing him down there and spending $3,500 on a Giorgio Armani suit is not going to make him loyal. It's just going to make him a dressed up whatever else he was or whatever he was before you took and spent your... No. You can't take no woman and spend money on her and think because you spent money on her, you gave her a shopping spree, that's going to make her... No. Not a season to build a mate. Not at this age, 40, 50, 60, 70, not at this age. Number 6, make certain that this person interests you on deeper levels. You can't be, you look kind of weird, quite honestly, at 40 years old, definitely at 50 years old. You look weird out here just gazing at people and can tell you, all you got on your mind is sex. Come on now. You're too old for this. You should have better understanding of this than this. You should know that there's more to life than this. You should have made enough mistakes by looking on the surface of a person that by now you should know and understand when you are leading yourself in the wrong direction. You have to make certain that this person interests you on deeper levels. When you get through enjoying the view, you need to pause and listen for the content. Does this person intrigue you mentally? Does this person connect with you spiritually? Amos 3:3 says, can two walk together except they be agreed? Pay very close attention to how this man makes you feel, because energy is more important. Listen to this. Energy is more important at this stage because your self-esteem as a woman is being assaulted by a multitude of factors. Once you turn 40 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old, you have all kinds of stuff coming trying to destroy your self-esteem as a woman. You don't need a man with bad energy. You don't need a relationship that piles on to everything that society is doing to destroy your self-view. Never ignore how a person makes you feel. Make certain that this person interests you on deeper levels than their looks. Because you're going to realize you need more than looks. Number 7, let me hurry up. I only have a few minutes. Never subsidize your low self-esteem by intentionally dating younger. Intentionally dating younger. You see, when you get to a certain age and you're intentionally searching for someone younger, you set yourself up to be abused. I look at dudes my age with these young girls in their 20s. I'm like, wow, you look ridiculous. You absolutely do look ridiculous. Now don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I know of certain relationships where an older man and a younger woman sincerely have a connection and love one another sincerely, and you can see it. You can feel it. It's real. In fact, I'm going not long from now to marry such a couple. I've seen even situations where an older woman married a younger man, and I was looking at it like, is this boy just playing with this lady? And that marriage lasted for 20 some years until she died recently. And he was heartbroken when she died, but he actually loved her. But that's the exception to the rule. That's not something that's happening every day. And it's certainly not happening if you out here just searching for somebody younger. If there's a natural connection with someone younger, it should be organic, not something that you've put together, contrived or something like that. This is your mindset. You're a 50-year-old woman and you don't want nothing but a 30-year-old man. You're setting yourself up for a whole lot of abuse financially, emotionally, physically. Okay. Because see, in most of these cases, you are just a payer. You think I'm stupid enough to think rather, that if something happened to Lisa and I'm out here on the dating scene and I got a woman that's 30 years younger than me and she looking at me like I'm all that and a bag of chips, you think I'm stupid enough to believe that this woman actually views me from a physical perspective like that? No, babe. You may think you a player, lose the L, you a payer. You're nothing but a payer. These young boys will tell you all of this stuff and get your mind all blown and you the hottest thing I've ever seen and all this kind of stuff. They want your credit card, babe. They want your credit card. Leave, if you're going to date younger, leave your wallet at home because they want your credit card. Let me give you some scripture. Titus 2:1-8. This is for older women that you have your mind made up that all you want is a young man. Come on, babe. Come on now. 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 Come on, please. Titus 2:1-8 says, but as for you, teach the things which are in agreement with sound doctrine, which produces men and women of good character, whose lifestyle identifies them as true Christians. Older men are to be temperate, dignified, sensible, sound in faith, in love and steadfastness, Christ-like in character. Old man, stay in your place. Don't be out here trying to run behind these young girls. You can't keep up with that. You like the dog that's chasing the car. If you catch it, what you gonna do with it? Let me leave that alone. Verse 3, older women similarly are to be reverent in their behavior, not malicious, gossips, nor addicted to much wine, teaching what is right and good, so that they may encourage the young women to tenderly love their husbands and their children. And you keep reading, you see where it's talking about, you get to a certain age, you should be teaching young women. At 40 years old, you probably have a young woman for a daughter. You and your daughter gonna be trying to date the same dude? Come on now. Come on now. 50-some years old, you somebody's grandma. And you gonna tell me all I want is a young man? Please. Babe, all he wants is your wallet. You just need to understand that. Somebody got to tell you that. You're not that hot. Ain't no such thing as you being that hot. I know you work out and all that kind of stuff, but it is what it is. And 99% of these cases, these people are just using you for your money. You need to understand that. Now, every now and then you have a situation like I described, but that ain't most of the time. I know y'all cutting me off now, but that's all right. Number 8, I got to hurry, get out of here. Be sure you've documented all of your past mistakes so that you don't repeat them. Don't start dating until you've documented all of your past mistakes so you don't repeat them. Learn from what you've gone through. James 1:22-24 says, but be doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. For if any be a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass, for he beholdeth himself and goeth his way, and straightway forgetteth what manner of man he was. Don't be at this age and not having learned from your previous stuff. Document your stuff and make certain that you build on every experience. Number 9, dress your age to attract an emotionally compatible person. And I won't say a lot about this because it kind of bleeds out of some of the stuff I just said. But you know, Forever 21 does not always apply. That's just a brand. That's not a reality. And you can't dress. Watch this. You can't dress for the club. You can't be a 40-year-old woman, 50-year-old woman dressing for the club and thinking you're going to attract a corporate Christian man. You have to dress your age to attract an emotionally compatible person. You keep saying all I keep attracting is dogs, but all you wearing is Alpo. You can't have a club wardrobe and attract a professional man. You're going to keep attracting what shows up in the club. What shows up? Dudes that want to have sex. Dudes that just want to use you for the night. That's what you're going to keep attracting. 1 Timothy 2:9-10. In like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel with shamefacedness, and sobriety, not with broad. What he's basically saying there is no woman should dress to sexually entice, and you should dress to dignify. Your dress code should represent your moral code, and it should also represent your stage in life. You and your 18-year-old daughter should not be wearing the same wardrobe, and I'll leave that at that. Number 10, and I'm done. Pay attention to their relationship history. When you're dating a man or person, a woman, listen very carefully for their relationship history. You should subtly ask questions about their relationship history. If they don't have much to talk about at 40 plus years old, they're probably either broken or deceptive. They should be able to tell you the blunders they made and the lessons they've learned from them. You want to know a person's relational history. Ecclesiastes 1:9 says, the thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. What has happened in the past is more than likely to happen again. And so these are just some thoughts that I have, being a man in the bracket, that I think could be helpful. Hope I said something to help you. Hope I didn't get on your nerves too bad. But I need you to really pray about these things. And on that note, let me pray for you. Father, I thank you for this time that I've had to share out of my heart, out of my own experiences in my own life. And now, God, my prayer is that you would supernaturally touch each and every one of them with the anointing of wisdom. Those things that I said, dear God, that may have been hard for them to swallow. God, I thank you for giving them clarity and letting wisdom be their portion as a result of this conversation. And now, God, I thank you that no harm will come to them. Protect them, dear God, even at times from themselves, filling their self-esteem, dear God, with your idea of who they are. In Jesus' name, amen. Now listen, thank you, all of you that are so into me and Lisa's lives. We thank God for you every day. Don't forget to stop by my website. You know what to do. Sign up for my mailing list. Check out all of my online programs. Go by Amazon, pick up all of my books. And, those of you that may need counseling, there's a link for BetterHelp Counseling in the description. If you use that link, you'll get 10% off of the cost of the counseling, and they in turn, for the referral, will make a donation into R.C. Blake's Ministries. Now, as I always say to you, we love you. Lisa and I love you. You all are our family. And I thank God that the world is beginning to open up, because I'm going to get a chance to meet a lot of you in a lot of different places in the world. And so I thank God for that. And I want you to know that we're always praying for you. We're always praying for you. And whatever the situation is going to be all right. I want you to understand that. Because you're on top and you're going higher. God has more in store for you. And so I'll say this to you as I always do. I'll see you at the top. God bless you. Until next time.
We here at RC Blake's Ministries want to thank you for spending this time with us today. RC and Lisa are always honored to have you with us. Don't forget to reach out to us by visiting our website at www.rcblakes.com. While you're there, you may join our mailing list and receive a free download of The Laws of Manifesting Your Vision by RC Blakes. Also look at all of the online programs by RC. You may find all books written by RC and Lisa. Once again, all of us here at RC Blake's Ministries want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And as we always say, see you at the top.